I should announce my partnership on live YouTube, and it's the first time I'm actually doing one of these type of videos. This is pretty much kind of similar to the what's spinning stuff that's been going around the whole VC community, but instead this is more like currently listening to in the past couple of weeks. So, of course, let's get into what's actually playing in the background. I've been playing this one for quite a while again. To me, this is by far a classic in my opinion. This is Blood Feasts, Kill for Pleasure. I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. This is actually kind of a self-made bootleg. This is ripped directly from my brother's copy of the reissue from like the 1990s. But I'm still looking out for a copy of the album. I know there is a reissue that High Roller had put out, both CD and vinyl, but to be quite honest, I'm more looking to get a vinyl copy of it. But other than that, I just like this album. This is by far one of Blood Feast's best. Even though I would say, I'll get to that. But of course, the first track, Menacing Thunder, the title track, and Cannibal, The Evil, Dark Side, Venomous Death. There's just some great tracks in here that I just fucking love. This is I could have put these in my extreme metal video because these guys were definitely one of the earliest death metal bands, actually. While mostly on the death thrash, they definitely were on that side, like with bands such as Possessed, Necrophagia, and of course they were on the same label as Necrophagia, New Renaissance Records. And both Season of the Dead and this were actually drawn by Drew Elliott, who's, again, just look at that artwork. That just screams 80s, and I wasn't there to live it. But I'm there to appreciate it and fucking love it as well. Still, great album. I definitely love this. And then I went back and playing some of the other ones as well. And of course I have this as my band of the week, so go figure. Of course, Face Fate, probably one of the best EPs of all time. This, with the two songs on here, put on Kill for Pleasure, probably makes Kill for Pleasure an even much better album. Though I kind of wished that this was a full length because of the energy that they brought onto this one. With, of course, the re-recording of Bloodlust. It's like the third time they had re-recorded it, and this is just third time the charm. This is one of the best versions to ever. It's like on the same level as Dark Angel, Demolition Hammer, and so forth. This is definitely, and I kind of wished it was a full-length album. But other than that, it's definitely a good one. I definitely good. And then I went back and listened to Chuckie Block Blues. Just a great album as well. A little more technical than the other two. Well, it's definitely not the youthfulness of Kill for Pleasure, but it still is another good one. I still like this. Definitely some classics on here. Hunted, Stalked, and Slain, which was actually the first Blood Feast song I ever heard. Of course, the title track. Turn to Dust. Spasmodic. Excuse me. Yeah, there's definitely some good ones on here. Dropping Like Flies. It's a little more thrashier, but there's definitely still some of that death thrash sound still present on here. It's just definitely good. Alright, I got this one a little over, I think, a week ago. Showed this one in one of my Unearthed Mail videos. This is, of course, Chris Holmes Shitting Bricks. Yeah, I said that with a straight face. Definitely cheesy. Well, the reason I say cheesy is because of the lyrics are mostly what that Chris Holmes just wrote what was on his mind. And there's some really dumb lyrics on here, but overall, there's actually some good stuff on here. Of course, it's Chris Holmes. It has a bit of that Wasp sound, but at times there's also a bit of a Southern rock influence. But if you can get past the ridiculous lyrics, it's definitely an enjoyable album. But there's also some stuff that I think that this sound kind of lacks. I think the track Nevermind was a bit... It's an instrumental, but it just felt kind of worthless. There's definitely some cheesy lyrics, but whatever. It's not bad, but it's far from being a great album. But if you're a fan of Chris Holmes, it's definitely one I think you should pick up if for you being a fan. But it's not one that is a necessity, it's not a necessary listen. This one I also got a week ago. I showed this in my extreme metal video. This is Magnus. Of course, a classic death metal band out of Poland. Definitely a good album. This was their second. I had failed to say I messed up on that extreme metal video. I said that Magnus released their first album in 1987, which is complete bullshit, because they actually released their first album in 1989. This is coming out in 1992. Still, definitely a classic one. It's more closer to like the set like of Sepultura and a little bit of death. It's definitely some of that little death metal sounding. While there's still a thrashiness to it, there's still a bit of that death metal sound. The demo on here, though, is the Gods of the Crime demo, which was recorded in 1991. Definitely for a demo, it actually has some pretty good sound for whatever source that this person got from. When I say person, it's because a person did release this. It was released by Meth Head Records, but the guy decided for the record label logo, he used his face. Look at this. Look at that. That's fucking hilarious. Meth Head Records. And of course, a picture, I guess, what could be a meth head. Fucking ridiculous. But whatever source he got it from, it actually sounds pretty good. There is a cover on here of Slayer's South of Heaven. Done a good job. Not too bad, or not too great, I may say. But not that. It's okay. It's a good cover. And of course, it kind of indicates who one of their main influences are. Still, it's a good one. This one I got a little over a week ago as well. This is Vomiter, Bleeding the Priest. This is definitely some classic stuff on here. This is definitely more closer to Sodom, if anything. Mostly that In the Sign of Evil and Obsessed by Cruelty era of Sodom. Kind of that black thrash sound. While they dubbed their music death metal, and there is definitely a death metal influence on here, but it's not as so much on some of the later albums. This is still a classic, though. Every time I put this on, I just pretty much can't help but get invested in the music and just start banging my head. This is just definitely some great stuff right here. And of course, I went back and played the third album. I picked this up over a month ago. Vomiter is the Escalation, their last album that they had released. Not the last album, but one of the last. Definitely a much more death metal album than Bleeding the Priest. Bleeding the Priest was a little more thrashier, but here it's almost like a bit of a mixture of black death and thrash metal. And it definitely there's a huge death metal influence on here, especially on a song such as it was Salem Witch's Grave or Hellburst of Fight, I think. One of those. There's a bit of a riff that kind of reminds me a bit of Morbid Angel. Still, great stuff out of Australia. And I just got this also a week ago. Envel is Anvil. I've been spinning the sound quite a bit. This is definitely a good album from Envel. Production, fucking great. Guitar, it's like Lips' guitar just sounds... It's back to the way it sounded back in the 80s. Just that very thick Marshall sound. And sure, lyrics, but to me, as a whole, when it comes to the riffs, the musician, just the overall execution, this is pretty much classic sounding when it comes to Envel. I really dig this one. Just got this one yesterday, actually, and I've been spinning it. Is Fate's Warning, Night Unbroken. Yes, and this is the 1994 pressing. It's actually a brand new copy. Definitely great. This is the first, one of the first times I actually spin this album in full, because I never really heard this album that much. I will get to the first Fate's Warning album that I ever heard, but as far as the first Fate's Warning song that I ever heard was actually... Oh fuck, nothing else... It was like the last track off of Perfect Symmetry. That song was actually featured in the Freddy's Dead movie, which I've seen years ago. And I didn't even know who the hell Fate's Warning were until when I watched that movie. I didn't know who the hell they were until years later when I saw the artwork for this. To me, this just popped out at me. But as far as the sound on here, it's definitely kind of close to that really early Queensryche sound. Because Fate's Warning and Queensryche were one of the first, I guess one of the earliest progressive metal bands. And they both released their debut full-length albums in 1984. This is definitely a great album. I do like this quite a bit. This is Buried Alive, Kiss of Death, Soldier Boy, even the title track Misfit. This is actually a pretty good album. It's being said that a lot of reviewers will go and say that if you're going to get into Fate's Warning, this is not the first album to go after, and I can totally agree with that. But I've also seen some that you're not going to immediately like it because it's too Iron Maiden sounding. I don't know. Can I just kind of just pull that up, because this is, right from the first start, I really immediately fell in love with this. This is definitely a fucking great album. Sure, it's not the progressive metal or is that progressive writing that will be present on some of the later albums, but this is still fucking great. Really is. Production raw, because it was actually once released as a demo. Kind of similar to Queensryche's 1983 EP. That was actually originally a demo, but it was released officially. But still, very good. But again, as far as demos that were released as albums that are seen as classics, look no further than Diamond Head's Lightnings in the Nations. It's kind of back to... it's very much close to that as well with some of this. Definitely some great stuff. I really dig it. And of course, we'll get to the first Fate's Warning album that I ever heard. And that's Awaken the Guardian. This is the first Fate's Warning album I ever heard. And this is the first copy I ever purchased, which was over last year. Definitely more of a progressive metal album. Maybe a little more, it's like a mixture of power metal and progressive metal. It's power metal, but with progressive writing. That's all I can put it into. Not as straightforward as Night Unbroken, but still a good album. And this was the last one to feature John Arch on vocals. I really like his singing. I haven't heard a whole lot of Ray Alder, but his singing on here it fits it. I can see why there are people out there that do not care for him. I can see why, but when it comes to my opinion, I tend to like his vocals. I really do. It fits the music here. It fits it. Definitely some great stuff here. The Sorceress, Valley of the Dolls, Fata Morgana. Shit. Guardian. There's just some great tracks on here. DVD though, not too good, but for what it is, I'll take it. That's pretty much what I've been spinning in the last couple of weeks, but so definitely some great albums here and some that didn't really click as much with me besides, yes, indicating with the Chris Holmes. I like him, but lyrics aside, it's what it is. So until then, this is Heavy Thresher saying I am out, and I probably will be doing more of these currently listening videos later.